Emma's here. Okay. Meg's eating the rest of her lunch. That's absolutely fine. Okay, yeah. So this for me is to go through the 2 automation platforms that I use the most, or they are the ones that I use the most, but they're also the ones that save me the most time, energy, and save me the most money, but also make the most money in terms of like ManyChat with the sales sequences. So I know, not to call you out, Mel, but I'm just about to. I know that you use the keyword response in Instagram, don't you? But you're doing it manually at the moment. And I know loads.
And it's a pain in the arse.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, that's like doubling your workload.
Yeah. I knew that I was going to test it, and if it works, then do something. But
yeah, of course. But I speak to people all the time who sell a course, and then if someone buys it, they email them the link, and then they add them to a spreadsheet somewhere or add them to a mailing list, and we just need to get rid of all of that. We can't be doing any of that stuff. So are any of you doing that at the moment? Are any of you kind of that manual in your business?
Funnily enough, I've started replying personally to the automatic thing to tell me someone's signed up. I've actually gone back a step.
Oh, that someone signed up to your mailing
to the
list?
paid fee. Yeah, I got a few. Yeah, so
that's nice.
Yeah, so I'm actually sending a personal email saying, any questions.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it is all a bit anonymous. I take their money, and unless they ask a question, it feels a bit.
I think that's lovely though. I think that's almost the next step on, isn't it?
Yeah.
As long as you've got the automated bit, which is the bit that a makes sure that it's done. Otherwise it's just up to us to remember to put it somewhere and email them and all of that stuff. But yeah, I think it's really nice to add a personalized step in there if you can, if your time and the numbers allow. So cool. All right, so give me some examples of things that you might want to do. Who said that they're still doing it manually? Abby, you nodded that you're still doing things manually.
Sort of. So I'm launching a course, and I'm trying to set up my sort of email marketing sequence. But it's new to me, and so I'm kind of like in that stage where the people I've had sign up for a wait list so far, I've been doing it automatically. I do want to kind of automate it, but it's just not something I've ever done before, so a little bit sort of stuck.
So talk me through so at the moment, how are they? You're talking about the course, they're saying they're interested, and then you're adding them to a segment in your email marketing software.
Yeah. And then what I'm trying to do next is then kind of like, I've got a lot of the copy for my email sort of done, but I haven't been able to figure out like an automation process so that people kind of get emails in a certain sort of sequence through to when the doors open and the course sort of launches.
Okay, and what email marketing platform are you using?
MailChimp.
Okay. I'm not a huge fan of MailChimp. It works, it's fine. I use Flowdesk. I love Flowdesk. A lot of people seem to be using it now. I think it's quite a bit cheaper than MailChimp, but it's also just like perfectly set up. So if you haven't invested a huge amount of time in MailChimp, I would have a look at switching to Flowdesk. I've actually got a code that gives you 50% off. So you'll get, I think it's like $19 a month. You get the first year. So
that'd be really helpful
afterwards. And that has everything set up for you. The bit it doesn't have set up, which is the bit we're going to cover today, and I think will be popular with people, is how you then connect your payment processor, so Stripe or Thrivecart, whatever you're using, to Flowdesk, so that you then don't have to go, someone's bought my course, now I need to put them in the course segment. And then because Flowdesk will look after the rest. Once they're in the segment, then your workflow will send and they get the thanks for signing up to this. And then a couple of days later, do you want to do this? So that'll look after that bit. But Zapier is the bit that links the two.
Okay.
So if you're using platforms and there's no integration between
Mm.
them, that's what we use Zapier for. So
Okay.
should we start with Zapier? Is anyone using Zapier? Is anyone already using it? No? Oh my God. Hold on to your hats.
I was freaked out by the cost per zap, and I thought, oh my God, that's going to just tot up. And I just numbers, my brain went, and I said no.
I think so. There's you don't.
I don't know. I completely misunderstood probably, but I just got spooked and thought I'm not doing that.
I think it's probably a way of spooking you. Right. Sorry, I'm coming back to that, Izzy, but I'm about to share my
Sorry.
screen.
Yeah.
No, it's
Ignore me.
fine. I just have to. My Zapier looks like my Google Drive, my Canva is an absolute mess. Please do not judge the inside of my Zapier. I can't believe I'm recording this, but here we go. Okay. So this is I literally have billions. So all of these that you can see are linking Thrivecart, which is the checkout processor that I use, to Flowdesk. This one's linking, so I have one set up for the community. So as people join the community, it adds them to a segment in Flowdesk. And as they leave the community, it takes them out. So I don't have to do any of that RSD stuff of looking at who's left and why they've left and taking them off a list. It just looks after all of that stuff for me. So I think that we should start. Let me just come back to your question, Izzy. So I'm on the Pro plan, which is, oh, here we go, manage plan. So this gives, okay, yeah. So if you go over your 750 zaps, then you get charged 5 cents per zap. But I think that's if you were getting up to 750 zaps, then you would just change the plan. You just go on to a higher plan. So this one is, what do I pay? $29.99 a month, which is honestly so worth it for the work that it does for me. So let's start a zap. I think it's going to be hard for you to say what you'd want to use it for if you haven't used it before. So let's start with, okay, let's do this. It has this AI feature now, so you can literally say what you want it to do. So we might come in here, it gives you an example here. When I add a reaction to Slack, a Slack message, create a card in Trello. So you can go as granular as you want with this. I mean, people have like these 15-step zaps that if this happens, then do this, then do this. People have whole zap flows set up to basically run their business. I personally don't use it in that way, but some people get really into this stuff. So it could be that if you were going to set this up, it could be that you came in here and said, when someone buys a product in, let's just say you're using Thrivecart 2, add them to a segment in Flowdesk. So we're just describing what you actually want it to do. So it's going to work out this AI feature is actually quite new. You used to have to start from scratch. So it's saying here, we start with a product purchase in Thrivecart. And then here it's saying add existing subscriber to segment, but that's actually not what we want to do, which it will always come up with this. We actually want it to, well, hang on, let's replace, but we don't want it to do this. We want it to, we'll come to that. Okay. So we're going to start with our product purchase. So this could be, what platforms do you guys use for your checkouts, like your sales carts and stuff?
I use Thrivecart as well.
I use Stripe.
I
Cool,
use Stripe
so-
as well. Yeah.
Brilliant. It'll integrate with Stripe. You can do it direct to Stripe if you just use Stripe links or anything like that.
Why would you use Thrivecart instead of Stripe? Like, what does it do?
Thrivecart is a sales like checkout platform. So you create your sales page in there. It gives you all your stats of your sales. So Stripe, if you were using a Stripe link or a Stripe product, you would either embed that on a sales page on your website, or you would have to use another sales page like CRM kind of software anyway.
Right,
So
so Thrivecart does the landing page.
yeah,
Because I was kind of looking for, yeah, like a landing page thing. It's difficult with what I do because like some of the softwares they don't have like a landing page that you could send to someone to automatically sign them up on like a more of a passive offer. It's
yeah,
very
yeah,
much like, here's the link.
yeah,
And it just
yeah,
looks a bit.
yeah. Stripe links are tricky, aren't they? I think, yeah, landing page software. Thrivecart's been fine for me. There's a lot of people that aren't happy with it at the moment, but I've used it for years and it's always been fine. They always have good deals on as well, so maybe worth looking at. So we're going to start here. So we've got our app. We're in Thrivecart, so we're going to select the event. So the event is a trigger event. So we need to think of this as when this happens. So this is the first thing. So when this happens, when someone purchases a product, it's going to ask me what product, so it needs to know which account. So I'm already logged in, but if you weren't logged in, it would just ask you to sign in. That's fine. It's got your account. Continue. And then it's asking here for which product. So we've got the account. So when someone purchases a product, which product do we want to look at? Let's just select the first one that comes up, which will be the Mastermind. So we're going to select that. It gives you the options of, if you have, this is again getting a bit granular, but if you have multiple pricing options for a product, you can create different behaviors. You can assign different behaviors per pricing tier. Let's just stick to the main thing now. So I'm just going to say when someone purchases the Mastermind, regardless of what pricing tier, that's when I want them to be added to the list. So we're going to test the trigger and make sure that we can pull someone from the account. So it's going to pull up a record now. It pulls up a record of any purchase from that account. So you do have to be a bit careful. I've fallen into the trap before of selecting this and then adding it to a list where there's a workflow set up and someone randomly gets an email saying, thanks for your purchase of XYZ. So you do have to be a bit careful which way around you do this. I would recommend, so we just continue here. So this pulls up a record. We continue with the selected record. And then we want to create a subscriber. So the wording on here can be a bit confusing sometimes, but we don't want to add an existing subscriber to a segment. We don't know for sure that they're already in our database. They could be new. So we want to create or update the subscriber. And then we continue. That's my account. Okay, and then we're going to go through and let's add it to this segment. And then we're just going to allocate the correct data to that. So the customer's email, first name, last name, and continue. So to avoid the issue that I was just saying about, which is that I've just used this as test data. So the person that I've just selected here isn't someone that's purchased the mastermind. So I don't want them to be sent the email. So I'm just going to skip this test. But if you were doing this for yourself, you would test this step, make sure that it's set up properly, and then you can go into Flowdesk, Google Drive, whatever you've set it up to do, and you can see that the record's there. So we're going to skip this test, and then we're going to publish it. So we now have a Zap that every time someone purchases your mastermind, they're going to be added to the segment that you've got your workflow set up on. So as soon as someone purchases your product, they're going to receive a seamless communication. They're going to receive, thanks for your purchase, here's the next steps, here's what you need to do, X, Y, Z. Make sense? Yeah? Let me just see if there's anything in the chat that I need to. ManyChat, large audience, the test MailChimp. I feel better when you show the inside of you. Coaching software finally integrated with Zapier, brilliant. Got that. Hi there, sorry about that. Oh, don't worry. Specifically about Thrivecart. Okay, cool. All right, brilliant. Does that make sense to everyone? Can you see how you can start to use that in your business to make life a bit easier?
Could you do, I'm just thinking about, I'm like, what's the latest thing that's like just took up way too much of my time? And like when people have joined Take Messy Action, like they need to book that first one-to-one, like send them a welcome email, like send them a intake form and all that kind of stuff. And I have admittedly been doing that manually. Could you, if I set up like a Flowdesk workflow,
Yeah.
can you like connect it to the workflow? So as soon as they've purchased it through Thrivecart, it kicks off that workflow.
Yeah, because the workflow is triggered by adding them to a segment.
Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
So you would, so all of these in my Zapier here are almost all the recent ones that you can see are, let me just go back to my home. Oh, exactly that. So as soon as someone purchases something, they're added to a segment in Flowdesk, which has a connected workflow. So then the workflow triggers.
Okay. Oh, that'd save a lot of time.
It's also really great for, so this is a multi-step one. This is a good one that I set up for an event we did. So someone purchased the product, then they're added to a segment in Flowdesk, and then they're added to a spreadsheet which was used for the event and also for like accounting and stuff like that. So it's really good for those horrible manual admin tasks that we're doing that just drain the life out of us. You know, it connects to Xero, Stripe, Sheets, whatever it is that you're doing. And this example of a multi-step one is one where you're not just saying, if this happens, I want this to happen. You're saying, if this happens, I need it to go here and then, you know, wherever else. But I think sticking to the single step ones to begin with is really advisable. I'm just having a look to see if there's one connecting Heartbeat to Flowdesk, ScoreApp, Squarespace. I mean, there's every single, you can go on to, is it Discover? Yeah, on Discover here. So it gives you a whole load of sales pipeline Zap templates that you could choose from. So connecting Stripe and Google Sheets, connecting Calendly and Slack and Stripe, Calendly and Slack. So you have all of these templates that you can choose from. Lead magnet, lead management, Zap templates, sales pipeline, popular marketing campaigns apps. So Discord and YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. So share your new Instagram post to your Facebook page. There's one on here that a lot of people are using now, which was every time you post to Instagram, post it to Pinterest, which is quite a handy one. Customer support, posting between Gmail, get email notifications or send follow-ups to new Typeform respondents. So there's a whole load that you can look through on here that are already here. Expense tracker, project management. So I think that the best way to start is either by looking through these templates on the Discover page, or going to Create and using the Copilot AI function. Who feels confident to do that? Who feels like it's something they'd be able to have a go at? Have I explained it thoroughly enough?
I'm more inclined to have another look now.
Yeah.
I am confused though about this whole Zap thing. Is that each time that sequence fires?
Triggers, yeah.
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 Okay.
So
And
if
is the count per month or year
per
or
month,
right?
and then it refreshes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. You were thinking per
Like
year.
all time.
No, per month.
Right.
And then it refreshes. So
Okay.
yeah, so depending on what you're doing, I mean, I have mine for, do I have mine? No, I don't have mine for email signups, because that's just through a form on Flowdesk. So mine only triggers, yeah, with a sale or I mean, I'm nowhere near the 750. You
Okay.
can see here, where was the,
Yeah, it was
what
700
have I
something. Yeah.
used? I've used 34 out of 750 in 2 weeks of this month. So
Okay.
yeah. I think that 5 cents thing is there to put you off a bit, isn't it? They want you on a plan. Yeah, but
Okay.
definitely. I mean, get in there and just have a look. The best thing is to play around. I just want you to know what it can be used for, you know. And there's so much more. Like I'm not even going to confuse you. There's so much more to Zapier, but the main thing that I would love for you to go off and investigate and see how you can use is to connect programs that you're currently using brain space, energy, and time to, you know, do these manual tasks. Does that make sense?
The Google Sheets one is very interesting, because every time, like in the week before a retreat, all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know, the names of the people come in and I have to like grab it from all over the place. So the fact that it would just be on a list ready to go. I'm guessing you can't do it retrospectively once you've set it all up.
You know what? I was only having this conversation with someone the other day, and they were convinced that you can, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't think you can. They were, so it might be worth having a Google, but I don't think you can. But just get it set up
Yeah.
ASAP, because yeah, that's a perfect example, like events and things like that, having to, you know, scroll through your emails to work out who's signed up and who's doing what is just a nightmare.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm going to admit this. Every single time I go into Thrivecart and go to the product and download the CSV file, I must have downloaded it like 100 times per event, and it's always got all that shit order detail information that I don't need. So yeah, okay. Well, I know what I'm hyper focusing on this evening.
You know what? There's another thing to setting up automations that I feel like I learned the hard way, but getting this stuff done, I am such a like, get the thing out there and talk about it. And then when people buy it, I'll kind of tie up the loose ends in the background. But doing this stuff up front and knowing that you're out there selling something that you just have to talk about and all the rest of it is set up, like having the, I've spoken about this before, but to me, that's like the energetics of your business of, you know, I'll do my bit up front and I know that this bit is looked after, the client's got everything they need, you know, I've got everything I need when I look at it. It makes such a difference to how you sell stuff, because you're not thinking, oh, if I sell another one, then I just have to go and do this thing and then I have to send it to them, and what if I forget, and all that stuff that goes on in our heads. Like having all that set up honestly makes such a difference to how you kind of, the energetics behind you selling. I find it does for me personally. So I'm going to show you ManyChat now, which I used to use this years ago, and it was such a horrible, like, bro thing to use. It was such a marketing, I don't know, it was just disgusting. There was all these chatbots everywhere, everyone was going mad about it, and then that kind of died down a bit, and they had this massive like rebrand, and it's very kind of Instagram friendly now, and I just really like using it. I think for sales it's made such a difference for me, just being able to ask people, you know, comment this, and then again the setup in the background, it just sends it to them straight away and I don't even have to think about it. So here we're going to come into can you all see the screen? Yeah, going to go into automations. And are we going to go into automations? Hang on, I feel like there's a templates thing here as well. Oh, here we go, all templates. So this again, if you're, you know, with these things, sometimes when you haven't used them, you don't know what you don't know, do you? So you don't know what you can use them for. So this is a quite a nice place to start if you're not sure what you want to use it for. So it tells you exactly what you can do. So convert your Instagram comments into sales, which is what we've been talking about. Use Instagram stories to generate more leads, so getting email signups. Show off your site to new visitors. Oh, that's another Instagram thing. Capture customer data with a lead magnet. Build an email list for Instagram. Capture customer data, blah, blah, blah. So it's basically Instagram and Facebook Messenger ManyChat works through. So these are all the different options. I am going to show you a couple of different ones that I have. This first one, I'm going to show you this. This is ridiculous. Can you see this? Can you see it? Yeah? So this is absolutely ridiculous. This was a day's hyper focus. And this is basically a quiz. Don't leave. This isn't what I'm going to teach you how to do. Don't go. This is basically a quiz that takes people through this flow of asking a question, assigning a score to each of their answer, and then giving them their brain first score at the end in exchange for their email address. It was a really fun day, but unfortunately it didn't really work. Like people just didn't really, people weren't really commenting or asking it, and I don't know, the whole thing just seemed a little bit convoluted, but it was, you know, it was a fun day. I had fun building it. But the idea of this is, again, similar to Zaps, everything is built off triggers. So all of these are like, if this happens, then do this. So I'm just showing you this bit to show off, really. Let me show you a really simple one. So this is my Brain First community one. This is much more simple. So Mel, this would be the kind of thing you would use. So when, in fact, let me just duplicate this so I can. Here we go. So we're going to here. I'll show you how we set these up. So which post or reel do you want to use in an automation? So you can either select, if you're on the free plan, this is a bit annoying, it's how they get you, isn't it? If you're on the free plan, you can only select previous posts or reels, which is, there would be no reason for using that. I would always go for all posts or reels. This is something that we want to set up. We don't really want to have to think about it again, especially if it's an ongoing thing. So it's a lead magnet or a link to a podcast or like a link to a community or something that you always have on. So for me, I have this on all posts or reels. It's on all the time. Whenever someone comments brain first, and there's a caveat to this, which is when you choose the word that you use, because this is going to auto respond, it's going to auto reply to them, and it's also going to send them the link. Just make sure that it's not a word that people would use regularly in your comments. Otherwise, it just looks really daft when they get an auto response and then get a link sent when that's not what they're asking for. So just make sure that it's a word. I would always use one word that's just kind of a put together word, you know, a kind of made up word in relation to what you're talking about. So Mel, for you at the moment, it doesn't really matter what word you use because you're only going to respond to that manually. But when you're doing this, just make sure that it's a word that isn't generally used. So we're going to say our keyword, put our keyword in here. You can choose any comment, but I can't think of an instance where you would want to. I don't know why you would want any comment, but choose a keyword. Continue there. So it gives you the option to set up some auto replies, and you can add more or take more off or say no, that you don't want them. The reason for having like 3 or more is because obviously if you're just saying the same thing, it looks spammy. I mean, I use these and I'm always aware that it kind of looks a bit spammy anyway, but I think people know what it is. You know, people know that it's not you sending them a link. They know that it's some kind of bot. So I'll save that one. So that's saying it's on all posts or reels. The comment includes the word brain first. So even if they write a whole caption, but the word brain first is in there, it doesn't have to be that it's just that word, which is another reason why we have to be careful of what the word that we choose. So this is the trigger. So when this happens, then this happens. So we're going to go in here and add in, you know, yours might be, thanks so much for asking for the link for my lead magnet, click below, blah, blah, blah. Going to put our button text in here and the website that you want to direct people to. And then that is literally that done. So once you have one of these set up, all you need to do then is come into here and duplicate. And then go in and change make sure you're editing it, change your keyword, change your keyword, perhaps change your responses depending on, because if it's, I've done this before where I've duplicated one for like a program and used it for a lead magnet, and my replies have said, can't wait to see you in there or something, you know, it doesn't make sense. So just make sure you're checking your replies as well. Change your message and your link, and then that's it. That's all you need to do. So you could use these for, you know, lead magnets, podcast links, new programs, your website, if you just want to get people to your website, whatever it might be, and you can just keep duplicating these. So depending on what plan you're on, you know, I've got loads of these set up. And almost all of these, I think all of them are, apart from that quiz, all of these apart from this one are comment ones. So this is a DM one, which is a little bit more convoluted, but this template is inside ManyChat. This is just using a template. So I'll just talk you through this one. So the user sends a message. So in my Instagram bio, I've got DM planner to get your free ADHD planner. So they send the word planner by DM. I send them a message saying, hi, I'd love to send you the planner. What's the best email to send it to? Once they send me their email, I add that to a Google Sheet. And then I send them, if they don't respond, I send them a message saying, hi, you're still there, blah, blah, blah. If they send me their email, add it to the sheet. If they do respond, then I say, perfect, you're all set. Check your email for the download and the overview video, because in that Google Sheet, I have a Zap set up so that as soon as a name goes into that Google Sheet, it gets added to my Flowdesk, which is where the workflow set up. Too much? Does that make sense? Yeah, so it does take a bit, like this stuff does take a bit of abstract thinking. It takes a bit of sitting down with a pen. I'm launching this thing. What do I want people to do? I want someone to sign up and then to get this, and then for this to happen, and then for them to get this email. And then it's just working out how you're going to automate that. What part is ManyChat? So ManyChat is the bit up to delivering the link and adding them to the Google Sheet. And then the rest of it is a Zapier job to connect it to Flowdesk, MailChimp, whatever it is that you're using. Make sense?
How come you've asked them for their email directly here instead of sending them a link?
Because if you send them a link, you're just kind of at the mercy of them clicking it. And also that as a journey is quite annoying. If you're saying, if I've said to someone, DM me for the planner, and then they DM me for the planner and I go, here's the link, then they click the link, have to put in their email, you know, that's quite an annoying journey for the customer. So yeah, it's better for me to get their email straight away than to rely on them to kind of click the link.
Amanda, how do you then, like, I'm assuming you want to collect people's emails, right? To have on your list. So how do you then get that person? So if somebody just sends you their email address and it goes through this automation, how do you then put their email address? Do you just automatically put it on your email list? Do you know what I mean? Your subscribers list.
So this comes up. Let me just see if I can show you a preview. Let me show you a preview. Let's see if it will when I add it. There we go. Okay, so if I then give it my email, so even though I'm typing it into the Instagram interface, I'm communicating with ManyChat. So when I add this, it says, perfect, you're all set. So that is this bit. So I've got the message there. Thanks, such a simple way to keep your tasks, blah, blah, blah. What's the best email to send it to? I've given it my email. And because I've given it my email, it's added that to my Google Sheets that I've set up. So I've got a Google Sheet set up for the planner. It's added it to that. I've got a Zap set up to then add any new line that goes into that Google Sheet, to add it to Flowdesk, to add it to the segment, so they're automatically sent. So they're added to my database, they're added to my email list, and then they're automatically sent the planner.
Because I use Kajabi, where I think a lot of what you've been showing on here is already integrated into that one place.
It's like one system.
It's like one thing, isn't it? So I'm just wondering how, because what I normally do with my lead magnets is, well, what I was doing for the longest time was sending people to my bio, and then they go and click on a landing page and all that stuff that you've just said, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm experimenting with the keywords. So then I put the link in the into their message, and I'm still sending them, because I don't know how I can, or whether I can link up ManyChat to then put them into my email list on Kajabi.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Can
So the
you?
way to do it would be to, let me just see if these actions, I don't yeah, it's only Google Sheets you can connect it to. You can't connect it. So you would do exactly the same as this. So you would do it use this template, do it this way, add it to a Google Sheet, and then you would have Zapier connect your Google Sheet to your Kajabi. So it would be completely seamless in the back end, but it's just a much better experience for
them.
For your client, yeah, because they're not going, oh, now I have to click here and download this. And this is a lot of the problem with what we're doing, because we're trying to work with like our ability or our kind of understanding, which creates a bit of a crap experience sometimes for our clients or customers, and that's where this like disconnect can happen. So yeah, this is like a really smooth, it all happens instantly. They don't see any of this, and it's not as complicated as it sounds. It's just a case of creating this from, let me show you where this would be. So this is in the templates, Instagram stories, build an email list with Instagram DM. So we're just using this one. So it gives you, there you go, gives you everything that you need. All we're adding in here is when you get the email, the action is that we want to add it to a Google Sheet. So we just want to insert a row as soon as someone does it, and then we just connect our Google Sheets, and you know, it literally takes you through step by step. Once you've done that bit, then we just need to connect the Google, we just need to get the data from Google Sheets into Kajabi, and the way we do that is by setting up a Zap.
Right, got you.
So it does just take, you know, maybe the first time it'll take a while, kind of.
It's like anything though, isn't it? Yeah. It's like setting up all my automations on Kajabi blew my freaking mind, but they're there now and I've done it. Do you know what it feels like a little bit to me? I don't know if anyone can relate to this. It's like Cluedo, where I keep, and then I go, oh my God, I've forgotten where the bloody dagger was. And you know what I mean? It feels a little bit like that, but I really love this visual with all the multicolored, the different colored lines. That's really helpful.
Yeah, and ManyChat's really, really good as well for, it'll tell, like, it just won't let you move on if you haven't done something. It'll tell you exactly, and that's what I was saying about when it first came out. It was just so overwhelming and kind of technical and bro, and now they've just made it they've made it for us, you know, they've made it for people using Instagram who are like coaches or influencers, or it's a much more simple kind of process. For me, Zapier is brilliant for saving time and kind of saving energy, all that bitty stuff that, you know, the stuff you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're like, oh shit, I didn't send that person that, you know, they've signed up and I didn't get the link out to them. Zapier is brilliant for that. ManyChat's brilliant for making money, getting people on your list. You know, I'm much more inclined, when I have these set up, I'm much more inclined to talk about stuff and sell stuff, because I know that it's just all set up and done. I don't even have to think about, oh, and then I need to share the link, and am I sending them to the bio, or am I sending them here? And it's a nice experience. So I think, does anyone else want to see anything in ManyChat, or has anyone got any questions about anything that I've discussed? I know I've garbled through quite a lot.
The only other thing that gets me stuck is the whole thing about permission, about signing people up to lists. I think before, when I done a couple of years ago. I think it might have been when I was on MailChimp or maybe Flowdesk. I had a few comments with some unsubscribed saying, what I was writing was spammy. I thought, well, bye. And so I'm just really wary about the whole GDPR thing and automate. But that's ridiculous, because if someone wants to give me their email address to get a thing, I do that all the time. I'm always adding my email to things and getting the thing and then forgetting to unsubscribe and
100%.
So why am I paranoid about creating that for other people? They're grown-ups and they can not give me their email if they don't want to.
Absolutely. I mean, there's two different things, isn't there? One is the kind of ethical legal bit of GDPR, which are you using Substack for your email marketing?
I am now. I moved from Flowdesk because I was getting my knickers in a twist with all my segments and everything, and also I didn't have the automation from my courses into Flowdesk, and so I thought, well, and also I was writing what I thought at the time my newsletters got really I thought they're quite good, but I thought they go out and then they just disappear. No one sees them. So I thought if they're on Substack, then people can then read the archives, go through the back catalogue. So it simplified things. So I don't use segments, but at the same time, I'm sort of, there are things I can't do.
Yeah, because
like
that's one of
magnets.
the things that stopped me going to Substack. Well, I think if I went to Substack, I would almost view that as like a blog or like an archive newsletter. Yeah, it's I mean, this is why my head's, I've been so torn between my courses being here and Substack being there, because people are on Substack, but to get them to a course, I have to sort of send them somewhere else. Yeah.
Whereas I quite like the idea of it all being in one place. You can't really segment. You can use filters, but
you also can't, if people are buying things, then you need to send them functional, like transaction email.
Well, because I use a course platform, that happens automatically.
Okay.
But that is limited. There are some, so like this wretched freebie, there was a thing with the delayed lessons, and if people were joining after the start date, they were obviously then a day behind with the timed diddly-doos. And so the only way to unlock it was manually. And I had to explain, how do I contact them? Unless I pay the platform more money to use their email system, I can't get messages out. So thinking, now there is an integration with Flowdesk, maybe I should just pay for their email. And then I think, that's another thing. And then it's Podia.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you need those transactional emails. You'll need, if
I'm
you're
sort
selling
of coming up against these blocks, and then my reaction is just to go, I didn't you?
Get it. I'm running away. I would say one of the issues with Flowdesk I've found and it's driven me mad, is that if someone unsubscribes from your list, they unsubscribe from the whole list, not from they don't update their marketing preferences. So I've had people that have unsubscribed and then have gone on to buy a workshop and haven't received the information about it because they've unsubscribed, which is just a horrible experience for them and for me. So it's not great for that. You have to do a few workarounds,
but they're all different, because I used to be on MailChimp, and that was brilliant for being able to tag people, segment them, put news groups, all the things. But it just, the idea of the amount of money they wanted for that, I thought, no, forget this, I'm off. So
I'll share that code that I've got in the group, and if anyone wants to sign up to Flowdesk, it's $19 a month with the code for, I think it's for the first year. But I would say if you're selling something, you're going to need something that is going to send out those transactional emails for sure. And then now you know about Zapier, you can just connect it all up. It's a one-time thing, isn't it? You know, in theory. Who else has any questions? How can you see yourself using it?
I just need some products.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just need like a, you know, like a business and customers and like products and people to buy it, and then I think it'll be great.
Let's start off with an email list. You've got an email list, right?
Yeah, I really need to start posting to that again. I kind of like, on the same question of the GDPR thing, I had like maybe 100 people that I got signed up in the gym, but because I manually added them to the email list, like some of them are GDPR like ticked and then some of them aren't, and like they can still unsubscribe, but I always just feel a bit like, am I doing something wrong by the fact that they haven't?
Legally, GDPR was kind of a flash in the pan thing, wasn't it? It's been chopped and changed that much. My stance on it would be, if you know that they've signed up, they've intentionally signed up with you manually, automatically, whatever, let's say manually in this case. If you know that, I wouldn't have any hesitation adding them to a list. And perhaps if you want to be extra cautious, sending a first email out, just cleansing the list, just saying, you know, I've added you to this list because you signed up X, Y, and Z. If you no longer wish to receive emails from me, please, you know, click here and remove them from the segment. We don't want people on our list that don't want to be there anyway. You know, we want people that are opening our emails. So yeah, I would do that. I just wouldn't overthink this stuff too much. You know, this is the thing that keeps us from moving forward, is that like getting, like you just said, Izzy, getting stuck in this. Oh, and then, but if I do that, I need to do that. And like sometimes we just have to make the decision and do it, you know, and maybe take the consequences. Maybe you get two people saying, why are you emailing me? You shouldn't have done this. But then what, you know, you just remove them from the list.
I guess as long as like you know that you haven't added people randomly to it.
Oh,
I think
absolutely, yeah.
I think the thing for me will be that I'll probably go back to working in person again, but just like you said, having that all set up so that when I sign a client up to my coaching software, because my coaching software is finally integrated with Zapier, and it's like, and it's been such a headache because there's so many different types of coaching software and they're all like really crap in their own special way, but you just got to like decide what features you want to veto basically. But just making sure that you're sending out the forms, and then you're sending out so that the link goes to like adding them as a client, adds the forms for them to sign up, and like that all happens while you're, because you could have a consultation at like 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then you get home at 8 and you're like, oh God, I've got to send them like an email now. And like,
absolutely. All of that stuff, like onboarding is such a great example for anyone, even if it is one-to-one clients where we think, oh, but it's fine because, you know, it's not like I'm getting 100 at a time. They just come on, and, you know, all of that stuff takes effort and energy. If you know you sign a client up, maybe the trigger is that you add them to a database, to a spreadsheet. Once they're in that spreadsheet, you've got a Zap that's then sending them a link to book their call or their, you know, onboarding questionnaire or whatever it might be. It's a much better experience for them, you know, and it's not dependent on your energy, mood. Like
I would get so much RSD as well.
day.
I'd like sign up a client and then be at home like, no, they don't really want to sign up. I'm like, and like push off sending the welcome emails and stuff to them, and it's just like,
exactly, yeah, like demand avoidance. Oh, now, yeah, totally, that's so common, isn't it? Oh, now I have to contact them, and what if they regret it? What if they don't want to? And yeah, so automating this stuff just bypasses so much of that us stuff, like our own stuff. It just kind of sets our business up in the right the right energy the right way, so that we can just go out and sell and be creative, and you know, do the things that we do.
I don't know
Yeah.
if anyone else does sessions with clients still, but I just logged into my Zapier and realized that I had set up an automation, which I remember it being like a massive like journey to figure out how to do this. But basically I was having loads of issues with like tracking client cancellations. So just as an idea, like if it helps anyone, so I basically linked it up with my Google Calendar, where if I said, let's say I had the name and I was like, right, Amanda, and you were like a recurring appointment. If
Yeah.
I think I had to like delete the event and create a new one. But if someone cancelled, I could write late cancel, early cancel, and it would put them into a Google Sheet and tell me like how many sessions they'd late cancelled or how many sessions they'd early cancelled. So like at the end of the month or whatever, I could see how many sessions they'd done.
Brilliant.
Oh my
So that
God, honestly, I listened to you. I'm such a nightmare. I'm so untechy. I
I've given people
literally
so many free
have
sessions.
just done this with one of my clients that I've actually sacked because I was thinking, I really feel like she keeps cancelling a lot. And I've just gone through our WhatsApp messages, God, that date she cancelled. And it was
Yeah.
1 hour before. I'm such a tech phobe. I need to really get myself techie like this, because I can't believe you're saying I
The
could
other,
do that
I
with
think this is
tech.
the ADHD thing though, is the other PTs in the gym. I was like, how are you guys like doing this? How is it? How are you doing it? And they were like, well, the client comes in and I say, shall I see you next week at 12 o'clock? And they say yes. And that's how we do it. And then I just count the sessions at the end of the month, you know, and I was just like, no, I can't, I don't understand. I don't understand. Like there's like sessions that haven't been done and I've charged them too little, and like,
See, I
my
block book,
clients would
so
be
actually
like,
I don't have the week in, week out. I block book and they have a thing. But yeah,
but it's like when you block book and then someone goes on holiday or you're ill or
It's
whatever.
even with one-to-one clients with me, they'll often say, how many sessions have I got left? And I'm like, pass, I'll work it out. But it is, yeah, anything that is an issue, particularly to you, there will be things, you know, that are specific to your industry and specific to you in terms of how ADHD affects you or how you run your business, that are almost certainly doable in Zapier. So yeah, as they come to you, just like put it in the community and we'll work it out. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it out. Or if you can't, you know, AI it in Zapier itself, because that's brilliant. It's really accurate. If you basically say, I want to do this in this program, and then for this to happen in this program, and then for this to happen, it'll essentially build it for you. And I know that there are like free tiers to both of them. Turns out you can't do much on the free tiers, but honestly, it is the time and energy that you will save is so worth it. Every time we find ourselves, welcome to Amanda's brain, I've just seen that, pulling our hair out, we should make a note about what triggered us. Yeah, 100%. Like genuinely, because this stuff, I worked with a client whose business was kind of not, it was doing really, really well, but it ended up, it was getting to the point where it wasn't doing well because she couldn't keep track of these specific things for these events that she was running. And everything was just all over the place. And it took some time, but we just built this app out that meant that the whole process was so streamlined. She just didn't even have to think about it anymore. And it turned out that it was like half her business activity was just thinking about this stuff and chasing it around and feeling crap about it, you know, just feeling really like shit that she'd kind of let her business get to this stage, or that she wasn't capable of doing it. So yeah, definitely. I think getting this stuff nailed is so key. And I know it can be the sort of thing that you put off as well, but I just think it's so important to get this nailed.
Question. So I feel like I'm exactly in that place that in your clients, because I have so much content. I have courses, workbooks, all kind of things that I could put out there, but I just can't. I'm just like, it's too much. I have
Yeah.
Substack as well, newsletter list. I think it's all in place, but I just got lost and I'm like paralyzed, really.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
where to get started. And then I'm thinking like I need to create those posts related to those DMs and ooh.
It's a lot. Why don't you start by making a note or creating a spreadsheet, bring up a Google sheet and list out everything that you have got and the links, like have a spreadsheet of all the freebies, all the courses, everything that you have got and the links. And then you can start going through them and thinking, you know, you don't want to talk about everything at once anyway. Like,
No, that's terrifying. Absolutely.
Exactly.
idea.
So what's the most important thing to talk about? Is it that you want to create more leads? Let's talk about a lead magnet. Is it that you have a course launch coming up? Let's start talking about that. And then just kind of tackle it one by one. But just, I feel like getting it all out and visual would
I'm looking for
help.
the visual big picture thing so I could actually see them. And I started collecting them. I just need to keep going and do it. Maybe draw on the wall or something. I don't know. I need to see like a big picture to understand. But I feel like, and maybe that's the lead magnets, you know, to just like grow my newsletter list.
Yeah, and just create
I
one.
feel like it's too easy even thinking like all this could be automated. I don't know why I'm thinking like it should be difficult.
Just create like one mini chat, you know, and then have what's your lead magnet called?
Well, I have plenty.
Oh, what's one of your lead magnets called?
Well, I'm a little bit excited about this goal achievement thing because it's like the mental, emotional side of it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say we have one set up, and just to be really clear, you don't have to just use it when it's relevant to the post. So what a lot of people are doing now, and what I really like, is just having like footers to your captions. You know, the way we used to use billions of hashtags. So just having these footers, which you can have set up using that text replace thing that I put in the community the other day. So maybe not every post that you put up, but it could be that you just put a meme up or whatever it is, and then you talk about that, and then you just have this footer that says, get my goal achieving lead magnet, put, you know, comment, hit my goals, and then it's done. You don't have to think about it at all. That could be, you could post that, you know, 3 times a week, let's say, and just really steadily be building up your list, as well as perhaps even having it in your bio and having a DM one set up as well.
Yeah, I think there's so many options here, and I already have so much stuff, so much content that I can use. So it's like I literally need somebody to help me to organize all that. Okay, can I do this and that, and you know.
I would on just pick one thing. Just pick one thing. Create a mini chat, and then get into the habit. Exactly, of using that. How come you've got so many lead magnets? Is it just kind of built up over the years?
I've been creating those for example, for my company clients, you know, workbooks, what I've been talking about. I've been leading workshops. I've been creating like, just stuff and content. And I have like 15 little masterclasses that I could just record and put it out there. It's all done. It's already like I can just speak and do videos and
oh my gosh, you need
I know I'm like sitting on the gold mine, right?
Jenny, do you know what you should do? Because you're like, I think when they're all your babies, you feel so precious about them all, and it needs to feel like it's right to, you know what you do is get some little scraps of paper, write each of them on that, put it in a bowl and just choose one. Take all of your emotion and all your passion away and just like really raw, just choose one and go, that's what I'm going to do. That's what the universe is telling me is the one to do. Take that decision making out of it.
Absolutely. So,
Or do you have like, are they all hosted in one place somewhere, or are they all on different links?
well, they are not anywhere really. You know, it's
Oh,
like
okay.
I have Thrivecart, but you know, I don't have proper systems in place. I stopped using MailerLite for a while because I don't know what happened in there. Then I went back to it. Then I started Substack. Now I'm in that loop of, you know, it's not, Substack is not really great with
Not
that.
working for
I felt
you,
exactly the same. Who was speaking about her? The
Is it? Yeah.
newsletters, and because I use a lot of time for writing them, and they are like blog posts that could be, you know,
Yeah.
shared, and I'm in the midst of changing my website, so everything is all over the place.
Yeah. Is your, I don't know if you'll be comfortable sharing this, but are you in a position with your business where you're making the money that you want to make, or are you in a position where you're like, I need to make more money and I'm sat on all this stuff and that's really frustrating?
I'm always welcoming more money, but
Of
the money is
course.
not coming from the online business, and I want to set up a proper online business and, you know, get the systems in place, and, you know, yeah, that's my
Okay.
goal. That's
Yeah.
my
Okay.
goal.
I mean, it might be worth working with someone just to get all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if
Because
that's the
it's
real,
like so much. Yeah.
yeah, if that is the real blocker for you, it might just be worth, I don't know, working with a VA or something who can just get it all organized and help you, even just help get a couple of them set up. What
Yeah.
I was thinking was, if they were in one place, if they were in like a digital shop or a workshop page or something, you could just set up one ManyChat and send people to that page, and then they can just look through the workshops and see which one they want to sign up for. Would be, you know, one way of getting it out there. But yeah, it sounds like you've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you'll know which route feels most comfortable to you. I would either start with one, or if even that feels a bit overwhelming, I would see if you can get someone who, you know, that is their area, a VA or something.
Yeah. I have a VA, but, you know, I think she's not probably the right person to, yeah, we'll see.
Happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, let us know how you get on, won't
She
you?
keeps me accountable though, so that's good.
No, I can see Zapier has different tiers depending on the number of tasks. You got time to touch on that, as in how far they go in your experience? Yeah, so I was just saying, when I looked at mine, I've used, I think, 35 out of 750 in the 2 weeks of this month. That is low because it's August. But starting on the normal tier, that kind of 750 task tier would be plenty for any business, I would say. Yeah. Does that help, Naomi? Has anyone got any other questions? Have we covered everything? I feel like we've kind of jumped around a little bit, but it's nice when it's a smaller group and it can be a bit more personalized, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always nice to have a smaller group and chat like this. It's always really helpful.
Yeah, I think so. Shall I stop recording?
Yeah. It's really interesting.